You didn't know, California is in its drought, and we're in its fifth year now going into this drought. And I think we all can agree that water is a premium, and it's highly controversial, especially amongst different interest groups. And it's not consistently being replenished, as we know, because of the Sierra Nevada snowpack and so forth. So the question really is, what would you do in Congress to advocate specifically here for the Antelope Valley to help ensure that federal dollars will be available for things like capital improvement projects, locally sourced water projects, and increased storage opportunities and capacities? So, Congressman.
So water has got to be one of the top priorities in the western states and in the country. There's no doubt about it. This is our sixth year of a major drought. But before that, we weren't doing so well. So if we're going to have water, we have to have some real ideas. We've put forward a water bill in Congress for the last 4 years. Now, we've not gotten a senator that would push that bill forward. We've tried to work with Senator Feinstein and Senator Boxer, and we've gotten to a certain level, but we can't get them to push forward a water bill that will actually bring water to the Central Valley and to Southern California. So we are continuing to work on that. But let's look at some of the water issues that people always kind of throw out. They say, golly, why can't we do more desalination? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Let's take desal right off the bat. Why do we need desal if there are billions of gallons of water going out to the ocean every minute? Every minute. Why would we let the water go out into the ocean, then become salt water, then have to build an $800 million project to take the salt out of the water so we could use it? Why don't we capture the water before it goes out into the ocean? There are many ways you can do that. Now, I've brought up a plan that has worked in China, it's worked in France, it would work here. It is an underwater river, and it sits right on the floor of the ocean. You capture the water at the Columbia River before it goes into the ocean, it goes into this tube, sits on the bottom of the ocean, comes up in the LA Basin, brings 4 million acre feet per year for $10 billion. Now, if we're talking about fixing water, it's probably a $10 to $30 billion fix. But anyone will tell you if we can get 4 million acre feet per year, we can take care of the LA Basin. That means the water that's here stays here. That means the water that comes through the aqueduct can stay on the eastern part of the state and stay over in this part of the country. So I've said it all along, the three big priorities, and if these aren't your three priorities, please don't run for office. Defending this nation, jobs in the economy, and water better be your three big items for the western states.
Mr. Caforio.
Thank you, Mike, and also thank you for the great work that's being done with the Palmdale Water District and the tour you took many candidates at all levels on to see a lot of the great work that's being done right here in this region. You know, we've made a lot of progress with conservation over the last few years, but it's obviously not enough. We can't conserve our way out of a 6-year drought, out of the upcoming mega drought. We need real solutions. I have said from the very beginning of this campaign, the #1 committee I'd like to sit on is the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, which has the Water Subcommittee there, because we need to have a voice who is dealing with this right from day one and being able to advocate for getting those resources here. One thing I would really like to move on is a large-scale water recycling facility. There's one of these down in Fountain Valley in Orange County that it started in the 1990s, and it now provides enough fresh water to service 850,000 people every single year. Imagine if we could bring something like that to the Antelope Valley. Not only would it create so many jobs while we build it, jobs while we operate it, but it also would bring that much needed water security to this region. But it's important when we talk about water that we also recognize that this drought didn't come out of nowhere. This is part of the effects of climate change. And that is why it is so important that we have people in office who understand and accept climate science. My distinguished colleague does not accept man-made climate change. And he is therefore not doing what is necessary in order to combat climate change, in order to reduce pollution, in order to reduce carbon, and in order to move to a cleaner planet in the future, which is going to start countering the terrible effects that climate change is already bringing and will continue to bring for decades into the future.